Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how you can commit your changes from your Salesforce Sandboxes to the Flosum solution so you can then use the advanced functionality in Flosum to deploy those changes throughout your organization. The first way is if you are working in an IDE such as VS Code or IntelliJ. We have a plugin that installs into all the popular IDEs that installs on top of the Salesforce CLI. It then allows us to work directly with the Flosum repository just like you would any other repository in your tool. So as you can see here, we have some options you can work with. You can clone the Flosum repository locally so you can work with it. When you're ready, you can actually push your components in your code to that branch in Flosum. So this is how you would commit it to your Flosum solution. You can right mouse click, push it to the branch in Flosum, and these will then be committed to Flosum, and you can then use the Flosum solution to deploy your code. Now if you're doing your development directly in Salesforce, we have a couple of ways you can get your changes into Flosum. So I have my sandbox registered in Flosum, so I'm going to click on that record for my sandbox. And there's two different ways from within here you can get your changes into Flosum. We have a functionality called snapshots, where you can go in and select the objects and components you want to deploy and use a very powerful filter criteria. So you click on the create snapshot. Now you can see it authenticated with that sandbox in the back end. I can then give it a name for my snapshot. I probably want to use something like a user story name. Then the first thing I want to do is determine how far back in time I want to go. So if I know that I've been working on these changes for a month, I can say go back 30 days in the history and retrieve components. So right now this will retrieve every component in that sandbox that have been modified in the last 30 days. Now I know I don't want everything, so I may want to go in and determine I only want things that I've worked on. So I can do things like contains in my username, so now this does everything I've done in the last 30 days, it'll bring back. And if I even want to get more granular, I can go in and select specific component types, or I can even put in the component names, so really bring back exactly what I want. I will click on the create snapshot, and then we would have our snapshot created. So you can see my snapshot brought back a bunch of custom fields in this example. I then can use these to deploy throughout my Flosum solution. Now another option we have is what we call the Flosum Sandbox. This is included with the solution and is a utility you install into each of your Salesforce sandboxes that will pull your sandbox for changes and will write it to the corresponding org document in Flosum. So you can see here that these are all my latest changes in my sandbox. And I can very easily add these to a branch in Flosum. So I click on the commit to branch. If I have an existing branch I want to use, I can search for that. I can then select whatever branch that might be. Or if I want to create a new branch, I can type in the name here. Then I want to go in and determine just what components I want to add to this. So if I know I was just working on Apex triggers, I could do this and find my trigger. If I want to, I can go in and I can use just a basic search. So if I know I was using a naming convention and I wanted to grab everything that I prefixed, you can see this comes in and this gets me all of the things prefixed with that ZUM. So however I want to do this, I can get those, and I very easily can commit these to my branch. Once the objects are in the branch, we then can move forward doing our deployments. Thank you.